Hi movers, and welcome to today's movement session. Bring some attention to where we are, to our present state. You can be seated or lying down. I recommend seated because we'll be getting into it pretty soon. I'll talk you through as we go, but today is quite a straightforward session where we go move to move, building up to some more complex sequences, mostly focused on mobility and incorporating some strength and coordination, ending off with a final sequence. Join me as I just do a little check-in here. You can essentially follow along, but what we're going for is reaching up, engaging the rib cage and the spine, doing some twists to the side, and we'll check in soon with our hips and the rest of our spine. So use this as a chance to see if there's anything you want to stretch out on your own, but at the very least, upwards to the sides and with some rotations will be good. Let's set up a 90-90 position here, and just use this as a base to see how our hips are doing. If there's anything we need to spend a little more time on, you can go up, down, sideways with some turns and add your own version of what I'm doing here. So while we're doing these moves, which are seemingly random, you can also use this as a chance to set up a bit of a breathing rhythm for yourself. So as we go to the other side and I check in with our hips in general and our spine and our upper backs, start bringing some attention to breathing through the nose. So this session today won't be particularly intense and will follow a very gradual increase. So do what you can, keep safe. If there's anything you cannot do, you should absolutely modify and make it your own. With this next move, if you can go into a low deep squat like this, great. If you need to support your heels to be higher off, that's fine too. I'm using the same principles here of just checking in general directions, starting with side to side. This is going to be great for the ankles and the hips and the knees. When you're ready for it, you can sort of shift forward and to the sides onto your hands, getting more of our wrists and full body into this here, and extend that range if it feels good for you. Otherwise, staying in the low squat and checking in with the basics are absolutely all good. When you're ready, take one arm and grab the opposite ankle or foot, and just see if you can incorporate some of these spirals here. So reaching with the other arm down and up a couple times, just one or two more times there before we switch over. Again, if you can't replicate this range of motion, do what you can. Just being in a low squat like this is already a great start. One last one there. And let's just undo all that hunching over, going onto our toes and opening up our chests. This is a great move I like to do to just activate the upper back a bit more, the back in general. And again, creating a bit of a rhythm for that breathing that we should always bring attention to. So do this a couple more times. Forward and back, nice and open. Really activate that upper back and open up the hands and fingers. Shake out if you wish. And to add to this phase of our check-in mobility, we're going to go into a reverse tabletop with a scoop through to a seated posture. If you can do this entire thing with your butt in the air, great. If you need to put that butt down, go for it. This will provide a good stretch for our shoulders and start to get a bit more activity through our back lines, in particular our glutes. Great stuff. So next we're going to go into something a bit more complex. We're going to set up from our kneeling position to go to one side. Set up the hand, create a good stable base with knees in hand, extend that foot, and we take this as a chance to create a long line overhead. Let me just show you from a different angle here. Set up your hand to the side, take the opposite leg through, and lean over, creating a nice long stretch in our lat muscles, our rib cage, while also sneakily and not so sneakily providing a bit more action through our stabilizers, our core, our obliques, our glutes. Keep alternating sides here for a few more. Of course, if the pace I'm going is a bit quick, you're welcome to stay in any position. Breathe into it if you need to. This is also your session. Make sure that you check in with what you're feeling. Last one there. Next, we're going to go into a position which focuses a bit more on the upper line although it has a bonus of a small spiral through the hips as well. Essentially, you set up a wide base with your knees and even wider with your wingspan. And what we're going to do here is, with control, drop the one shoulder down and shift our weight from one side to the other. This is a very, very potent and unexpected active mobility of the upper arm, the shoulders, and the back, just encouraging a bit of activity through our upper bodies. Keep those hands nice and open, shift your weight, and remember, breathing here is a good guide for you. If it feels particularly tight, work with a range that works for you. Last one each there. Alright, let's take it up a little bit more. So what we're going to go here is set up another frog squat, a low squat. Again, if you need to be on your toes, that's all good. With your hands, place them on your feet or your ankles, or if you need to, another spot there. And with the knees outside the elbows, we're going to slowly extend our legs while keeping our hands holding on there. Also a deceptive move, quite a strong stretch to the back line. So of course, keep the knees going as straight or as bent as you require for what your hamstrings are saying to you, maybe your back line. This is a relatively intense stretch for some people, including myself, to be honest. So I never underestimate it, especially if it's first thing in the morning. So use this as a good check-in, getting the legs in general to wake up a bit more. Finish off your last one there. Of course, anything you need to shake out, go for it. That last stretch has quite a demand on the nerve lines. Right, let's come to standing. What we're going to do here is go from a split stance with crossing over the midline, and we're going to do much more of an active side body opening here, using our lunge as a base. This is great for not only creating a bit more awareness of spiral lines, it's great for balance, to get the toes engaged, and it's quite an underestimated move for coordination. So your goal here is more or less to reach that back arm towards the heel or the back of the calf by twisting the opposite direction. So in other words, you're creating a bit of a spiral line through an active lunge and cross step. I'm going to do a couple more here. Same thing applies. If you need to hold it or if you need to limit the range, go for it. This is enough of a challenging move for some where it could be a strength exercise, and of course it continues to be so, but this is a great example of an active mobility movement, reaching as far as we can with control. Finish off your last pair, and we go to the next. Bringing ourselves back to the ground level. Let's put a bit of more fire in this game. We're going to take a press or a high plank, load up our posture, and pop through to one of the greatest postures, a bipod or a tripod, where we extend a leg through the space we're making. So we press down, we press up, we jump the one leg to the outside of the hand, make lots of space, lift up, thread the leg through, and then we return. So if you need to roll up and down as opposed to do a full press, that's perfectly fine. It can be a straight push-up, it can be a roll-up. There's no cheats here, there's just whatever you want out of this move. We're going to do a couple in a row, start building up some energy, enjoy this move, and as you get the hang of it, extend that range, challenge yourself, see if you can keep that front foot elevated right up until it gets back to the back. And if you get confidence on your shoulder, you really extend and reach out. Another example of a move that's great for strength and general fitness, but it could be considered as an active mobility for the sport, especially for the shoulder region. Got a couple more to go. So finish off wherever you are, one more in each direction, make it count, make it good quality. Awesome stuff. Well done. Especially if your wrists are talking to you, shaking them out may help, maybe a few rolls. Let's go to the next one. Let's come to standing once more. Again, using a split stance, we're going to set up a relatively tricky move. The big version of this could be called a dragon lunge. And what we're going to do is we're going to step off to the side, and we're going to take that trailing leg around the back as far towards the front as we can. So you should absolutely use all the assistives you can here. So I only have ground level, but I encourage you to use blocks or books or anything that can help you be more elevated with your supporting hand, in case going down low like that is a bit much. So set up whatever works for you to step through, trail that leg to the back, and there. Another version which we'll do here is by putting the back foot on the bridge or the top, and actually laying down that leg shin onto the ground as an assistive tool. But again, we're still making that front leg do most of the work. So treat this as whichever version suits you, to use your hand to lay the foot down, or if you want more challenge, to not put that foot down at all. We're going to do a couple more for a total of 10, more or less. Finish off one more each direction. Well done. That's a tricky move, one of the more complicated ones for today. Keep it in the back of your mind for future progress. So before we go into our next relatively advanced move as well, a back bend or a full bridge, let's prep up by doing a few bridges and checking in. So I recommend starting with a few classic glute bridges just to get the glute muscles a bit more ready. And then we're going to get our arms and hands right up above next to our ears, so you can listen to our hands talk. And just check if there's anything that needs to be shifted or adjusted or warmed up first. We'll do a few preparatory lifts. If you cannot lift your body off the floor, do this by placing the hands, but still continuing the move without elevation. If you feel warm and ready, join me in doing a few of these. I'm going to do a total of 5. Go for 5, it should feel better for each rep. And here, a reminder that you are most welcome to pause at any stage or rest whenever you need. The wrists may be a factor as well to consider. So this move, go very progressively and finish off your last one there. Definitely shake the wrist out after that one. If you gave it a shot, really well done. It's a relatively complex maneuver for the spine and the wrists, and requires a lot more strength to the back line than you might expect. Good stuff. We've done most of the individual strength and mobility moves, and we're going to work our way into the sequence coming up. So we'll end off with a slightly longer combination of maneuvers. We've done the individuals, and they serve their own purpose, which is awesome. Now, what I'll do is I'll demo piece by piece what we're going to go up to next. You're welcome to follow with this setup, and then we'll do a few repeats of these longer sequences. So starting on our bellies, we take one arm to the side, we bend the opposite leg, and we gently roll over towards the arm, creating a bit of a twist. We do each way. We spiral or worm our way up off the floor. You can think of this as going through an upward dog, and we create a spine wave to go towards the back, a neutral spine. This will allow us to set up into a low lunge or split stance, where we reach behind us in a twisted fashion towards the back leg, bending it, grabbing the foot, and giving it a gentle pull towards us. So I'll just demo a slow version of it. You're welcome to follow through. Going from a downward dog kind of position, rolling through down to the ground, extending your arm, lifting the leg and twisting towards. We go the other way. Pushing ourselves up through a back bend, upwards dog variation, rolling back into a child's pose. This will help give our lower back a bit of a chance before setting up our split stance, reaching back with the same side arm as the leg that's in front towards the back leg, lifting it up. If you can grab that foot or the toe, grab it and give it a good pull. If you cannot do that last piece, any reach back will be good. And we roll down and finish back in our downward dog position to stretch out the back line. And then repeat that. So a reminder here, it's a great opportunity as these moves are a bit bigger and we take a bit longer at each point to bring some attention to your breathing. Try not to hold your breath at any particular stage. Keep the flow and modify this as you need. This is a great combination of extending the spine, bending the spine, twisting the spine, opening up the hips, getting a bit of length through the front line, all with an active mindset here. Take your time with each posture. Make sure that you follow through with good quality. And we'll finish off just spending a little more time in the backwards position here, the down dog, especially if you have to regain the breath. And finish off there, coming to the seat. Good job. As the morning sun catches up to me here and the heat comes, I'm just going to open up, breathe a bit, freshen up. So we're going to come down and finish off our session here. If you are going to be doing any other training or movements, feel free to bypass this. But if that was your session today, or if you'd like to cool down otherwise, we'll end off similar to how we started, where we do a small check-in, reaching up, shaking out anything if you need to. We reach up and down a few times and just recalibrate our breath, bring it back to a calmer state. Should feel a bit of heat and warmth through the body. So what I'm doing here is just aiming that energy and bringing it back down to a bit more calmness. So thank you for joining today. You're welcome to stay seated or lie down. This is a great opportunity for you to focus a bit more on your breathing. Don't get too complex with it. Just notice the breath now that there's a bit more energy flow. Otherwise, you can set some intentions for yourself. Start preparing for the rest of your day. Use this as you wish. I thank you once again, and I'll see you very soon. Remember to keep moving, stay in motion, and stay well.